Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy Adam here, back here for another fucking video. Gotta continue that storyline, you know? What happened after Greece? What did we do? What happened to the boys? How did we get all the way to Nepal? Well, that's a whole story in itself, so I think today is the video where I go all out and I just tell you the whole fucking thing, because I really need to just get this down, get this uploaded, so I can start doing some other shit, because I've been, thinking a lot about what I want to do, and, working a 9 to 5, really, it's not my shit. And if I really want that, I gotta put the work in, and I gotta think about what can make that happen. And so far, videos and music are the only two options I really have. So that's what's gonna be on the channel after I finish these vids, just so you know. If you're looking for gaming, go to my other channel, AdamR77. I'll put the link on the featured channel soon, so you guys can hop over there if you really want more gaming. But I think I won't be posting too much more of that because, I'm kind of on to bigger and better things. Anyways, let's get down to business. So, we just left off in Greece, right? After that crazy experience here in Athens, off in this island of Aegina on my 19th birthday. And boy, one of the best memories I've had ever, probably, on this island and just in this area. You all have to go to Greece at some point. This country is amazing, and then hey, come visit my country, come visit Bulgaria right after, because banging countries, so much culture, so much history, and really, in North America we lack a lot of what they have there. We really don't have much of a culture in comparison, so I'd suggest these two if you want to go learn some Slavic culture and see what it's all about. Anyways, okay, so we finished up in Athens, hey? Then, I don't know if I got to that, but we went to Delphi for a day, which is all the way up in the mountains here. And then we went to Nafplio for a day, which is right in this cove over here. Anyways, after we did that, we went all the way up the coast to Thessaloniki. We took a train all the way. So how were we were supposed to go meet Malachi's mother, okay, in Istanbul, because she was coming there and she just on vacation, she wanted to see us. But how were we supposed to get from Athens over there, without going all the way around, unless we were trying to fly? But we had so much stuff that we really just did not want to take another flight, and all the options were way too expensive. So what we did is we just took a train all the way up the coast to Thessaloniki, and it was 3-4 a.m. in the morning by the time we got there. And then right away, as soon as we kind of did an all-nighter, and then 6 a.m. came along, and there was a bus, and the bus took us all the way back up to Plovdiv, which is my dad's hometown and where my grandma lives. So then we stayed there for about another week, just trying to figure out what we were gonna do. And during that time, I gotta tell you this because this is super, super funny. So I was going on jogs and shit, and we were getting kind of bored, and we wanted something to do, right? So now I was like, yo, this time you go for your jog, just try and ask some people, see if they have any weed or anything, because that'd be nice, just to smoke the bowl in this amazing country, just kind of have some fun. I was like, all right, yeah, sure. And I just went for a jog, and I was being smart about it. This is a post-communist country, still kind of communist. They just call it a democracy, so gotta be fucking careful who you talk to. So I was, just asking young kids and, teenagers, do you know where we can get some, where we can get this? And at one point, I was walking through the main square, or jogging through the main square, and I see 3 guys. And I tap one of them on the shoulder. My cousin turns around, Victor, and he's like, yo, Adrian, what the hell? And I was so surprised. I asked him the same thing I'd ask everyone else, do you know where we can get some weed? And his friends burst out laughing, and they were like, yo, he's the biggest drug dealer in Plovdiv, right? And I'm just like, no fucking way. So anyways, that was Victor. His past, he recently got locked up because of it, but he's out now, and he's doing better things with his life, so good for him for trying to turn things around. But anyways, he hooked us up, okay? And basically, we, chilled for a day or two with him at the basketball courts, talking. blowing blunts and shit. And eventually we get, a little tired, and we're like, okay, it's time to make our way over to Istanbul. We need to make some progress, like we haven't been moving in a while. So we packed up all our bags, said goodbye to my grandma, and got on a bus, and that took us all the way through here, I think we did go through Asenograd, maybe not, but we went straight all the way through this massive highway all the way into Turkey. And I think we crossed the border just about here somewhere, maybe right here. And holy shit, this was craziest shit we've done in a long time. But probably the craziest thing I've done. So we get to the border. We're chilling there, we're sitting there in the bus, and normally, they don't ask you to get off the bus and, check all your bags in the European borders, because, Europe is Europe, everyone just passes through the borders really easily. But this time my friends, it did not go right. They basically took us off the bus and said, get all your belongings, we need to check everything. And so I look out and I see, security cameras, I see police officers, I see, I believe there was a dog, and there was, the whole system of, the x-ray scan and all that, where they just scan all your bags, scan everything, metal detectors. So I was like, holy fuck, what just happened? We really kind of fucked up, because what did we do? We brought some of what Victor gave us over the border, and put it in a little back pocket of an Oreo container to make it super secure or whatever. But even then, I was shitting my pants. I was like, holy fuck, what do I do? So first of all, Mal gets taken away. He gets just swept aside by the border patrol officers, and they take him. They're like, hey, can you show us your visa? And Mal takes out his visa, and this guy fucked up the dates for the visa. He literally put it one day too soon. So we were early, basically. One day too late. Yeah. So we were a day early on the visas, at least he was. And so they took him aside and they took him way off and made him pay twice for just 2 stamps on his passport that said, okay, he's good for 1 extra day. And so they charged him something crazy, like 150 euros. Meanwhile, I'm trying to deal with the kush, because I'm just sitting there on the bus like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? So I get off the bus. Everyone else gets off the bus. I'm like one of the last people. And then right before I go into the inspection zone, I turn around and I tell the lady who is like administering the bus, the manager, I say, hey, I left something on the bus by accident. Can I go get it? And she's like, oh yeah, sure. So I went back on the bus with what I needed in my hand, and I basically threw the Oreo container all the way under the seats, all the way to the back of the bus, just so it was cleared. And then I just grabbed a book that I did actually forget. Holy shit, oh my god. And brought it back out, and so then I was clean, and I went through the metal detectors, everything was fine. And I go and I get back on the bus, and it's still there, the container. So I just grabbed it, and off we went. Me and Mal got back on the bus. We got through the border, went all the way to Istanbul. So we took this route all the way down this highway, all the way to Istanbul. Arrived there super late, at 12 p.m. or 12 a.m. midnight basically, and we're in the middle of nowhere, right? We have no idea where we're supposed to be. Okay, so this says that's the core, but it's not. They take us all the way down, and we got dropped somewhere in Fatih, I think, right here. This is the central area of the city. This is the European side over here on the left side, and then on the right side is the Asian side. It's really the collision of 2 continents. That's why Istanbul is the greatest city ever. I would say it's the most amazing city ever. You should go there. Anyways, so we got dropped off somewhere here in a random neighborhood, and we were like, okay, so now where do we go? Where's Malachi's mom's apartment? So we call her, and because we were a day early, the lease was also only for the next day. So we were just, or the rental was only for the next day. So we didn't have anywhere to sleep after all that. Just wandering around with all our bags on our backs. You know, we went to a Starbucks to try and get Wi-Fi to find out where a hostel was. And luckily we got through. We were able to you know, use the internet, and bro, it's the stupidest thing. They always require you to have a phone plan in order to use the internet, because you need to verify yourself on their online softwares. But somehow I figured out a way to get around it. Like, I don't even know how. So we went all the way back into this part of town right here. What was it called again? Is there a name for it? Okay, that's not what I remember it being called. It was something starting with a G. Anyways, we go down there and we wander around until we find this hostel with a rooftop patio. And we're like, okay. So we dropped our bags there for the night, went up on the roof, and you know, had a celebratory J, you know, with all the people there. And you know, told them our whole story. That was probably one of the craziest days of my life, other than that experience in Athens. Just so much shit went down in one day, and you know, we made it through. So that was that. Okay, that was story number 1. Big event number 1. Then what happened after that? Oh my god. Okay, so we're chilling. His mom arrives. We move into the new apartment, and yeah, there we go. Galata. I told you it started with the G. The Galata Tower. It's like, yeah, there you go. You can see it. Look at this thing. Fucking amazing. Anyway, you can climb all the way up and have a nice view of the surroundings. And it's like right on top of the hill, so you can see the whole marina here. You can see the whole river, and you can see all the big mosques. So that's the Blue Mosque, and this is Hagia Sophia right here. And it's 2 of the most well-known mosques in the world. Biggest, most magnificent mosques. It's incredible. Like, parallel to the what was the... Anyways, I was going to compare it to something, but forgot. One of the most amazing places in the world. So, you know, we get a nice hotel right here in Galata. We're standing there, waiting for, you know, for his mom to show up. She shows up, she lets us in. You know, the landlord was super kind. And, you know, we go walking around the neighborhood. And this is one of our first, maybe it was second or third night, actually. We're walking down. So you see this little J right here, this little route. This is the main street right here. It's the poppin' place where all the vendors are, all the amazing Turkish delights and baklava. It's just incredible. Like, best food ever, 100%. Like, if you're into snacking, this is a snacking city. Like, you can go fucking, you know, go crazy. Anyways, let me try and find the name of this street. Is it gonna tell me, or is it not gonna tell me? It's not gonna tell me. Okay, so anyways, we're walking down the street. Just imagine me and Mal going along here. And then some random guy asks us, hey, do you guys have a lighter? I just want to light up my cigarette. And we say, okay, yeah, sure. Gave him a lighter. They start walking in the same direction as us, just by chance, you know, that's at least what we thought. And, you know, we keep talking after he lights a cigarette, and, you know, he's asking us about where we're from. We tell him we're from Canada, and we talk to him about, like, the local area, what's a good thing, what are some good things to do to occupy ourselves. He tells us some good shit, so already we're like, okay, this guy's a real one, like, save us. We're walking down the road, still, and we get to this little route right here, I believe. This little jig. And he's like, hey, you want to, you know, meet us, or you want to join us for a beer tonight? Because, you know, not really doing anything else. And we're like, okay, yeah, sure. Thinking, you know, okay, he's just going to take us to a bar. But what actually happened is he took us to a club. And it was him and his little friend, you know, who was, you know, beside him. So it's the 4 of us together. And we walk in, and, you know, he sits us down at a round table. And it's right in the middle of this club, like, spotlight, everyone's watching us. It's kind of whack. And then the platter comes out, a silver platter with, you know, salmon with champagne, and we're like, who's paying for this? Like, what? Like, what's going on? You know, everything's being given to us. You know, we're getting snacks, we're getting given, you know, really nice food. And then 3 strippers come out of nowhere and sit down right beside us and basically corner us in the booth. So we're just sitting there, you know, getting like talked up by these 40-year-old women, kind of gross to be honest. And you know, we didn't know what to do. Me and Mal were like stuttering, like what the fuck, like how do we get out of this? And you know, I stand up to go to the washroom, and you know, they sit me back down. They're like, hey, you're not done yet. And then right away, the women, you know, just go away, leave us right away. And the bill comes out, and we're like, hey, like what the hell, like what the fuck? This guy, it's not even a receipt. He just writes 500, puts it down right in front of us. We were due for $1,000 for that one little experience. They scammed us, those 2 guys, and they put the cash on the table, and they're like, oh yeah, this is normal, you know, for a night of fun. Bro, me and Mal were so shook. We were like, what the fuck? So Mal tries to get up. Nope, that didn't work. And I try to get up. Okay, he just said, because I was the closest to the exit, one of the bodyguards comes over and says, hey, like, okay, come with me. You know, if you don't have the cash, that's okay. You know, we have an ATM. And I'm like, oh my god, of course, there's an ATM built into their club right there, ready to catch foolish tourists just like us. And so they basically didn't let me go until I went, put in my banking information right in front of them, and took out $1,000 and gave it to them, split it up between me and Mal, and that was that. You know, like that was probably the craziest night ever. You know, maybe it wasn't 1,000, it was like 1,000, whatever their currency was translated to something else in our currency, but I can't quite forget. But it was a lot of money, and you know, just gave it to them, and I was like, hey, you know, can we please go? And they're like, okay, have a good night. And me and Mal, you know, walked out of there heads down, like fucking scratching ourselves, like what the fuck are we doing? Like so pissed at each other. And you know, we just walked home, you know, not saying a word, just like what the fuck just happened. So yeah, we got scammed super bad. So watch out for that kind of shit if you're ever in Turkey, if you're ever in any of these European countries, because we talked to people at hostels about this afterwards, and apparently it's a pretty common thing for, you know, locals to, you know, get tourists in and, you know, talk them up and basically put them into a scam. And it happens all the time, but no one speaks up about it. And there's like, I never found anything online about that. So if you're watching this is good info for the next time you travel. Just don't fall into the same trap, because they'll try and do anything with drinks, even at clubs. You know, they'll sit you down for a drink and they'll give you a couple of drinks, and you won't see how much it costs, and then the bill comes out and it's 10 times the price you were imagining, and you can't do anything about it, right? So watch your asses. And the funniest part was, you know, when I was walking along this bridge the next day, and I saw the people. I saw the guy, this main scammer, and his friend, and he just sort of smiled at me and waved and disappeared, and that was that. And I was like, oh my god, I had a chance. I could have ran after him and booked this guy, but hey, you know, it's his country, his city. What am I gonna do? So that was a lesson well learned. Anyways, we stayed a week there in Istanbul, and then we found a 50-euro flight from Istanbul all the way across the rest of Turkey, all the way across the Black Sea to Georgia. And we actually went to the capital here, Tbilisi, right away. You guys don't imagine, like, you can't imagine how amazing this place actually is. Like, you'd think, oh, Georgia, you know, rundown country, there's not going to be that much happening, but hey, their architecture here is beautiful. You know, so we landed, you know, right away there's signs saying, Tbilisi loves you, that's our Wi-Fi network, please connect. They have citywide free Wi-Fi, and bro, it's incredible. So we gotta get out, we're already on to, you know, which hostel we're gonna get to. I'm looking up the best hostels, and so, you know, we get to this one hostel. I need to look up his name right now. It was, shoot, I can't believe I can't remember his name. It's the nicest guy ever. I'll look on WhatsApp. Give me 1 sec. So anyways, it was like, we go to his hostel. You know, he gives us the nicest beds, the nicest rooms, treats us super well. You know, invites us on nights out and things, because he's a partier himself. A lot of these people are just hard partiers. And see the stadium right here? It was near here where there was a fat nightclub, and it was called Basiani. And oh my god, like this is probably the craziest techno meetup in the world. And they do it almost every month. And you go into a big gym underground. It's like this big bunker underground, and there was at least 2,000 people just dancing, head bobbing all the time, you know, just in pitch black, and the only thing there are is tiny lights going, and everyone's just going hard, you know. I've never experienced anything like that before, but I went with the hostel owner, and it was the craziest night ever. Like, it was insane. You know, you have to wait in line for about an hour, but hey, it was worth it. It was such a good time. Anyways, after that, I think it was somewhere over here, I walked all the way back down across the river until I got to right here, which is where the hostel was. Was it Nino, his name? Oh, I gotta go back and talk to him. Such a cool guy. Anyways, he had, you know, let me try and find it. Yeah, it was right here. So there was a monument right on the corner here, and then across the path there was his hostel somewhere over here. Unless it was here. Might have been right there. Anyways, you guys don't need to know the specifics. I'm being too much of a perfectionist right now. Okay. Anyways, you know, we go about our day, and we're trying to find stuff to do in Georgia. You know, it was an amazing city, so we climbed up here. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. That's just my dad, you know, being inconsiderate of what I'm trying to do. Anyways, so I figured out his name. Oni. Sick guy. Sick hostel. I think it was called Oni's Hostel. Best fucking place in town if you guys ever want to visit Tbilisi. But hey, let's keep going with the story. So he basically showed us around, showed us all the great things in town, the Kinkalis, the Pinkalis, which, okay, so Kinkali is like this, is like basically the Georgian form of a dumpling, but it's kind of crossed, you know, it's really cross-culture here in Georgia, because it's essentially the one country right in between Asia and Europe. And so they have a lot of both cultures kind of infused into one culture. So they had something called Kinkalis, which is like their dumplings. And then they had, I think it was Pinkali or something else Kali, that was basically like this big bun of dough, and they had, you know, egg inside and cheese, and it was kind of like a bunitsa from Bulgaria, which is like a spanica pita, but just cheese inside. It was kind of like that, but just like a big bun, and then all the filling is just inside. So it was kind of like a pizza hybrid, you know, of their culture essentially. So, you know, they're taking some stuff from Europe, taking some stuff from Asia, and they're fitting it together. So amazing fucking experience, at least food-wise. Probably some of the best food we had. And then, you know, stayed there for around a week, and then we heard that there was somewhere up north called Gudari, and it was this ski village somewhere up here in the mountains. That looks about like it was right at the border here. Anyway, so we basically, yeah, there it is, Gudari. So, you know, that's where we were missioning to. We basically rented skis here in Tbilisi because, you know, it was going to be cheaper after reading stuff online. Got in this sketchy ass van and drove all the way up, which was pretty incredible. Okay, so we got all the way up to Gudari, probably one of the most beautiful drives we've ever seen, we've ever experienced. And so then now we get to the ski village, and we go all the way up there, and we film all this incredible footage on the GoPro. You know, obviously that we lost in Thailand completely. But it was just such an amazing place to ski, so I highly recommend Gudari if you guys want to go for that. Anyways, next up, we went there actually twice, and we met this guy Terry, who is he was from north of China. They call it northern Mongolia or something, or no, Upper Mongolia is what he told us. He was a sick guy. We stuck with him for almost a month, traveling around, doing things together. And it was super fun to teach him how to ski. I remember that vividly, just going backwards down the hill, holding him, by his shoulders, trying to get him not to fall and shit like that. But anyways, it was a good time. So eventually we got our due of skiing, and eventually we went back all the way down to Tbilisi and wrapped things up, returned our skis, said bye to Oni, thanked him for everything. And from there, we basically bought a flight to Nepal. So we found a really, reasonable price for around, I think it was around $400 Canadian. So then we flew all the way into Dubai, wherever that is. Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, there we go. So Dubai, so we flew all the way here to Dubai from Georgia, so you can kind of see right there. And then from there, I got a glimpse of the Burj Khalifa, obviously, just got a little one from the airport, all the way from the airport. It's like 100 kilometers, maybe like 50 kilometers away from the city, but you can still see the Burj all the way from there. So anyways, we we're sitting there at the airport, get another flight that goes all the way up through the Indian Ocean, over India, right into Nepal here, and we landed in Kathmandu. And from there, boys, the story got incredible. Our life was incredible after that. We landed. The Nepalese people, you don't even know. You're not going to find one bad nut in that country, other than maybe the people who sell you hashish, because they're always like, hashi, come by. But, that's obviously just for business. They need to support themselves. Anyway, so, beautiful people, beautiful country, most generous, people I've probably ever met, They come from nothing, and they're way happier than any of us in North America. Now I was reading a book called The Happiness Hypothesis, and it kind of just, matched up with everything we were experiencing. The poorer people are these days, the more they value the little things in life, the more they value connections with their people, the more they love and care for each other, because they understand the hardship that each and every one of us goes through. So, usually you think, of course the Americans are going to be the best. No. America is the worst, because everyone only cares about themselves. It's that fucked up mindset that, the American dream, everyone can make it from nothing, and you can get away with anything with the law, and fuck that mindset. That's what fucks with our world right now, the whole get away with it kind of mindset. You can't. This is where I learned that karma is a real thing. If you do something bad, you put bad energy out into the world, it's going to bite you back. It's going to come back at some point in your life, and it's going to fuck with you. I already told you guys that that was why we lost the GoPro. It's because we did a couple of questionable things in Thailand, and me and Mal were kind of scraping by, trying to save where we could. So all that stinginess and frugal attitude kind of caught up with us, and anyways, that was one example of how karma has affected us in a pretty big way. Anyways, we got to Kathmandu, stayed there for a week, found the best hostel in town. Can't quite remember the name, but if you ever, I'll put it in the description somewhere, because that was a banging ass hostel. Okay, so after that, we were getting a little bit bored of just staying in the city, because it was a big ass city, some nice temples here and there. There was a monkey temple that we went to that was incredible. There was a morning walk that you could do, and you could see Everest. We didn't quite get to that, but I'd recommend it, because Everest is just up here. Anyways, so then we took a bus all the way through the country to Bharatpur, and right here, me and Mal were getting kind of sick of each other, so we parted ways right there. And it was kind of funny, because we had this app. It was called Workaway, and on that app you can basically apply to different people put up ads basically asking for help on their farms, on their properties with their kids to babysit and things. And so we capitalized on that, and basically looked for a nice homestay, and we went and stayed with these incredible people, right right near the Chitwan National Park. So we stayed there for a week, and while we were staying at their homestay, we met 4 amazing there's much more than 4. We met a ton, like at least 10 travelers that were just there, sitting around in a circle, eating together, living life together for the time being, and helping this Nepalese family get by at the same time, helping them with work, helping them with labor, with planting, with cooking, and it was an incredible environment to be in. And it just so happened that me and Malachi were in the same region. I was kind of in Chitraban right here, and he was around Dibyanagar over here. And on the snap map, I opened it one day and I was like, oh, Mal's right there, okay. And Mal eventually got a little bored because he was on his own, and I was with a bunch of travelers. So he eventually said, bye, homestay, and he just came right back to me in the hostel, so in the homestay. So we basically met these new travelers right away, got to know them really well, and started thinking, like, did we want to do something together? And we eventually came up with the plan to go all the way to western Nepal over here. You see this town, Pokhara? This is the main tourist hub, basically, for trekking, and then you can go and take any route you please in the Himalayas. So we plan to go and do what they call the Annapurna Circuit, which is a big circle in the Himalayas here, all the way up and around, with these other travelers, with Jake, with Niklas, like my boy. Oh my god, it was such a fun time. So there were 2 Americans, Niklas, who was German, and me and Mal all together. So we set off, got all our equipment together. They have a pretty incredible lake right here. This is the lakeside view point that you guys saw. If you go on my Instagram, there's a couple of photos with Mal perched over here, with us up on top of this temple. And then there's another mountain here where you can go skydiving, basically, or not skydiving, paragliding, and go all the way across the lake and land safely in the wetlands here. So we did all of those activities, including a little bit of whitewater rafting that I did on my own while Mal was sick. And then we journeyed up into the Himalayas. We set off on, I think it was a Monday. Mal was feeling really bad. He was feeling pretty bad. I don't know what happened to him, but he started getting kind of the symptoms of bronchitis, and so he was basically coughing up a lot of phlegm, not having a good time. And I was really debating whether I should stay with Mal and wait it out, or go with the rest of the group. And eventually me and Mal discussed it and said, he'll give himself one more day, so I'll leave a day before him, and then he would try and see if he'd feel better, and if not, he wouldn't come. If he was, then he would come. And so basically what ended up happening is we walked all the way up to Besi Sahar, we took a bus to Besi Sahar, and from here we walked all the way to Bahundanda on the first day. And what Mal did is he came the day after, and we went up all the way here to Gandaki, and he caught us up. He went all the way through here, Bahundanda, all the way with bronchitis in his lungs, coughing and shit. Went all the way because he was so determined to come with us. So props to you, Mal. You're a sender, man. Anyways, we fucking met up. We were just chilling in a hostel or a homestay. They called them tea houses. There'd be a town every 3 hours or so on the walk, and you could go there and you could basically get free accommodation as long as you paid for food and were kind to the Nepalese people and respected their privacy and joined their family. And so we found this really nice place right on the corner of a hilltop. We're sitting there just enjoying the afternoon, and we just see Mal panting, just coming right after us, and then he sees us and he's like, oh my god, there you are, finally. And guess what? There was a random stray dog that saw Mal somewhere around Bahundanda here and followed him all the way to where we met up. And this dog kept coming. He stayed the night with us, and then he kept walking with us all the way up until we got to a suspension bridge, and then he couldn't come with us anymore. So that was probably one of the craziest experiences of my life right there for sure. Cause you like, everyone thinks, oh my god, like walking for 12 days straight, like that's with your bags on your back, that's impossible. But hey, it's so rewarding if you do make the trip and you do it properly. So I was already by day 10 I was feeling my legs starting to crumble, and I started getting pains in my knees and bad shit like that. And so me and Mao were around this town called Manang. So you go up the valley here through Garmu all the way up, and you follow, cause it's basically a river, and you follow the river all the way up to this intersection here, and you basically go all the way around through here to Shame, which is another amazing town. They have hot springs there, natural hot springs from the Himalayas. Gotta go try that. And then we went all the way up to Pisang, and it was here that we got some of the amazing shots of the mountain face, is what I like to call it. Is this big peak right here. This is Annapurna 2. Yeah. And in one side of the mountain there's literally a face, and I think it's somewhere right here where you can literally see what I personally called the face of God, because that's what I believed it was. But it's up to your interpretation, right? So go take a look at my Instagram. It's hidden in my Nepal post. So go and take a look at that, because that was probably the most incredible view we ever got. So then we're in Pisang, and there was a town up here, Upper Pisang they called it, where you could, right there, where you could get an amazing view of this viewpoint of this mountain. So we went there, stayed for a night. This was the most incredible trek up here to Gyaryu. And if you remember my last video, it was episode 4, episode 5, where where I started the video off with Nepal, with that that amazing landscape you guys saw Nicholas walking along. You saw the view that we had, that was right here at Gyaryu, right here. And you had to go, like, it was a 3-hour trek, right, all the way from Pisang all the way up here to where we took that video. And then that's basically where I left off or where I started the last video. But I did not mention the story that happened to us afterwards, which is what I'm going to tell you guys now. So we kept going until we got to this town, and it was Karaka. Okay, so then why are they calling it Gusang? It was called Manang anyway, and it was right here. And this was probably the most incredible tea house or set of tea houses that we've ever gone to. It was like this big kind of apartment style building with a flat top with patios everywhere that you could just walk about, and most amazing people ever, serving you incredible food, doing their best to make sure you have a good time. And so shout out to them, they were incredible people. So that was basically the last town we got to right there. And you're supposed to take an acclimatization day before you go any higher, because we're already at like 3,500 meters here above sea level, which is a lot, right? The air starts getting thinner as you get higher, right? So we were getting our oxygen tests done to see how well our bodies were coping with the altitude, and luckily all of us were doing really well, except that Mal was still feeling pretty sick, pretty down, and my knees were really killing. And Mal said to me, hey, like, honestly, I've been thinking about it. I don't think I'm gonna keep going. Like, I think I'm gonna have to go back. And the dilemma was that we only had 3 more days on our visa. So either I could go all the way around the circuit, all the way back, or go back with Malachi. And I'm really bad at decision making like that when it's all on the line, and I've been walking for 10 days and I'm trying to decide whether to go back or keep going, and I really wanted to keep going. And so I kind of told Mal, hey, like, I'll meet you back in Pokhara. I wish you all the best, my G. And I, sent it. I was kind of being a little inconsiderate, honestly, because, he was going through a pretty hard time himself. So more bad karma on my plate, right? So I'm going up through Manang. I get right here to one of these cliffs. I think it was this one right here. And you see this path? So I got to here. And by the time I had made my decision whether I was going to keep going or not, it was already around noon. So the sun was out in full blaze and all the snow was really soft. And what happened? I got right here and the snow started slipping out from underneath me. It's like a mini avalanche, and I literally started falling and tumbling, and I was about to fall down this cliff when I stuck my trekking pole in the ground as hard as I could. It snapped in half, but it was just enough force to stop my momentum and to stop my sliding. So I basically right there, just like right on the edge of the cliff, just like, holy shit, and I gradually got up and clawed my way back up and survived. That was another very, very near-death experience. And I took that as a sign. I took that because my knees were giving out already, and I really wasn't feeling good myself. So, that was my bad for pushing myself too much. That was kind of a reminder that, hey, like, if you keep doing it, you might kill yourself. And so I took that as a sign to turn around, be kind to my body, be kind to myself, and also be kind to Malachi because he didn't have a partner anymore. So I said goodbye to the rest of the guys and turned around and went all the way back to Manang. Said my goodbyes to the people at the tea house, and me and Mal, took a Jeep. If you really want to fast track it, you can order a car, or you can talk to the locals and they'll get you a Jeep to drive you all the way back. That's what we did. We're going all the way back around, all the way down to Pokhara, and from there we rushed ourselves back to Kathmandu to the airport. Because we were already a week over our visa, but for some reason someone told us it was only an extra $2 a day if we overstayed in our visa. But we got to the airport and that was just not the case, so we paid something like $200 each, something like that, in penalties, and then basically took off from there to Thailand. And that's where I left off in episode 5 in the last video before all the Vietnam videos that I recently posted. So yeah, that was it. That was the send. That was the connection right there. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm trying to get as much content out as possible right now because I'm going to be going away soon and just kind of relax and take it easy, because I've been going through a lot of shit recently, guys. Like, I don't want to tell you all of it, but some pretty monumental stuff's been going on in my life. Some thoughts that I really shouldn't, like things, I know things that I really should not know, and I don't know how, but I'm going to talk to you guys more about that in the next video because it needs addressing for sure. But yeah, that was the full circuit, and from there we went to Thailand, right? After Thailand we went to, we were in Bangkok, hottest city in the world, Jesus, so humid, so hot. And then from there we went all the way up to Hanoi in Vietnam, and from there we went up and did the crazy motorcycle loop that we have footage of in my second episode of Vietnam, and then went all the way back down around the coast all the way to Ho Chi Minh, and Malachi went all the way and took a flight. Actually, I think he went out of Nha Trang or something like that, but he took a flight and he went and met his dad at Hong Kong, because he was kind of getting low on money, on funds, and he really just wanted to go spend the rest of the year back at home with his boys and with his family. So he took off, kind of left me there on my own. That's all good. Honestly, it was a good experience for me to learn how to take care of myself and be on my own and survive in this world on my own. And there's a lot of stuff that you really don't think about, like cooking for yourself, finding a bed every single night, finding friends to chill with so you're not like always lonely, like it's a lot of hard work, but hey, it gets you into a really solid mind state that sets you up well to live. So I really recommend doing that if you're struggling right now in high school, not feeling that great about your social situation, or you're your confidence levels, go travel, go do what you want to do, meet some really cool people, and it'll help you out. So that's my advice to you. I'm gonna make one more video about how after I got to Ho Chi Minh, I flew all the way up to Japan, up here, dug up some connections, stayed there basically for free, which was incredible, just because of the amount of people I knew. My boy Ryoma from Japan was staying in Kyoto. I had an old family that took care of my mom. They did an exchange with my mom. They lived in Canada for a while, and they knew my grandparents. So, they remembered that connection right away and said, hey, come stay with us in Tokyo. And so stayed there for a week with them, which was incredible. They even sent me to a town called Hakone, which was right near Mount Fujiyama, there you go. And so yeah, that was Japan, one of my favorites as well. I can't say anything about that. Perfect country. Oh my god. Best food ever too. Their quality, their standard of living is way up there. Okay, so then after that, I'm just gonna give you a quick rundown. Went to the Philippines. Went to straight to Cebu, actually, right here, Cebu City, and navigated my way all the way down to right here, which is called Moabol. It's another tourist town, and some of the best scuba diving ever right here, guys. Like shoals of sardines, reef sharks, massive sea turtles. I even saw an octopus when I went for a night dive one time. So incredible. I stayed there for 7-8 days. I think it was 8 days, yeah. And then from there, took a flight all the way to, I kind of backtracked. I went to Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. But the reason I did that was so I could catch a super cheap flight. It was only like $400 all the way across the Pacific back to Vancouver, and then from there back to Toronto. Oh, Vancouver back to Toronto over there, yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was my journey around the world. Did a full loop, and hope you guys enjoyed my narration. I know it might get a little boring at times, a little slow for you guys to listen along and catch everything, but I'm trying my best, without my footage. So hope you guys enjoyed, and have a beautiful day. I will see you guys in the next episode, and keep on keeping on. We got this shit, COVID's, one thing. It's only here for so long. We're gonna get through it. Maybe not America, but hey, we'll see what happens with that. All right, easy boys. Have a good day, and yeah, I'll see you soon. Peace.